Good morning, everybody. My name is Mark Hendelson. I am an advisor as part of the AMAC Foundation advisory team. Joining the webinar and assisting me today is Eileen Cook. We're here presenting another of our series of informational topics on Social Security. We appreciate everybody being here this morning. If you have questions or comments, please add that to the chat function. A little bit about myself before we get started. I worked for 38 years with the Social Security Administration. I've worked with AMAC for a little over a year now, responding to emails that we get from our public about all matters relating to both Social Security and Medicare. Today's topic is one of our most popular topics that we get questioned about on a regular basis, and that is when to file for your Social Security benefits. Lots of strategies, lots of ideas that people follow, information that's given out, helping individuals understand their filing options. We all want to maximize our benefits over our lifetime. Today, we're going to talk about some of the basics. We're going to start by talking about eligibility. Eligibility for benefits. That's really the first concept everybody needs to understand is when can they file for their benefits. Eligibility for those looking to receive a retirement benefit based on their work and earnings is age 62. Spouse or an ex-spouse of a living wage earner, also age 62. A survivor, widow or widower, must be at least age 60. Disabled survivor, widow or widower, as early as age 50 would be their eligibility. One note which confuses people at times, when we say age 62, actually we're talking about the month after age 62 as your first eligibility date, unless you were born on the first or second day of the month. As an example, if you were born June 3rd or later, your eligibility date would be July, with the first deposit made in August. If you were born June 1st or 2nd, you would qualify for benefits as early as the month you turn 62 in June. Frequently asked questions relating to when should I file for my benefits? Some things that's important to understand. AMAC does not have access to Social Security records. We do not have access to Social Security records. We advise clients based on information they provide us. We provide information as far as recommendations, filing options, based on the information an individual provides to us. And at the end of the day, it's a personal decision as to when you feel it might be best to file for your benefits. We will lay out your options as to what you can file for, when you might want to consider filing for those benefits. But it's up to you to determine when that right time is to start your benefits. There is no single best date as to when to start your benefits. Everybody's retirement plans, everybody's needs are different. So it's important to understand the rules and regulations, the policies under the Social Security provisions as they apply to you, the different benefits you might qualify for, and then figure out when is the right time for you to file. It's important to make an informed decision based on the Social Security rules. Factors that we tell individuals to consider: your current financial situation, your current health, longevity in your family, and the impact of taxes. So a couple of examples that we've come across recently. Just yesterday, I had somebody reach out to me, and she was of retirement age. She's eligible for a benefit. She's not working. She's retired. Her health is poor, and she doesn't have longevity in her family. And she is struggling financially. For somebody in that situation, it might be best for them to start their benefits sooner rather than later, as opposed to somebody who financially, income and expenses, income exceeds expenses. They don't need that Social Security check to pay their light bills or put food on the table. Their health is fine, and they have longevity in the family. For that individual, they might want to wait till their full retirement age or later, up to age 70, to tap into their Social Security retirement benefits or spousal benefits or survivor benefits. What you should not consider or worry about: these are emotional factors we get asked about. Probably the number one issue, concern many people have is solvency. Social Security right now is fiscally solvent through around 2034, 2035. If no changes are made to the current system, when we hit that breaking point, the benefits won't turn off completely. That spigot, that flow of money from Social Security, those payments will slow down. Recently, Commissioner O'Malley, recent commissioner, when he was before Congress, he told them, if we do nothing in 2034, 2035, benefits would be cut around 19% across the board. So if no changes are made to the system, benefits don't turn off completely. They would be reduced across the board. Another concern is that the laws will change and negatively impact me. I can promise you the laws will change. Social Security will continue to evolve. Right now, it looks different for me than it will for my kids and grandkids, just like it looks different for me compared to how it looked for my parents and grandparents. So Social Security will continue to evolve. The laws will change. Usually, when they make a change in the law where they're reducing benefits or changing eligibility guidelines, people 55 and older traditionally are grandfathered in. So what I would argue, two factors you shouldn't concern yourself with: insolvency and the change in laws. We talk about filing strategies. One of the very popular filing strategies was something called a restricted application. That's where an individual filed only for spousal benefits. They restricted the application to spousal benefits. And they wait to 70 to get their higher retirement benefits. Between your full retirement age and age 70, your benefits are increased due to delayed retirement credits, DRCs. A DRC is calculated at the rate of 8% a year. So if your full retirement age is 67, if you delay till age 70, your benefits would be 24% higher at 70 compared to your full retirement age or your FRA benefit at 66 or 67 or anywhere in between. You can no longer do that. You can no longer file a restricted application. Anybody born January 2nd, 1954 or later, that option has been taken away. So no more filing of restricted applications. The other thing that was a very popular filing strategy was something known as file and suspend. If you have reached your FRA, you could file for your benefits, suspend those benefits, and allow your spouse to collect benefits under your retirement record. That concept was known as file and suspend. That also was taken away from people born January 2nd, 1954 and later. So the last two are filing strategies that no longer exist. The first two bullet points on this slide are emotional factors we encourage you not to focus on or worry about. Should you continue working? You are governed by a very important provision in the law known as the annual earnings test. Continuing to work once you get benefits is possible with not losing any benefits as long as you keep your earnings under the annual level. The annual level in 2025, for those who are not yet full retirement age this year, is $23,400. And the income that we count, income from work, gross wages, and net self-employment. We do not count investment income, pensions, annuities, lottery winnings, alimony. We don't count anything other than earnings from employment. So if you file for your benefits and you keep your earnings under the cap for the year, you'll get all your benefits. So that is a viable option for many. They reduce their earnings to under the limit and they file for their Social Security benefits. So they've got payments coming in from Social Security and income continuing from employment. If you exceed the limit, the annual limit, $1 for every $2 that you go over the limit will be lost in benefits. So if you go over the limit by $10,000, Social Security will hold up $5,000 in your benefits. So if you're getting $2,500 a month, 2 of your checks would be suspended due to you working over the annual limit. Once you reach your full retirement age year, the limit is much higher, and only the months up to your full retirement age count. Once you hit full retirement age, you can work and earn an unlimited amount of money and not lose any benefits. So working and deciding what to do regarding employment is a big piece of the puzzle that needs to be considered when looking at filing options and when you want to start your benefits, because that is another possible income flow that you can have in addition to your payments from Social Security. And these same rules apply not only for retirement benefits, but for spousal benefits, survivor benefits. The same annual earnings test rules apply for those individuals. It's really critical to look at the long game. I like to tell people you need to look at short-term and long-term. Play the short game, play the long game when evaluating your filing options and when is the optimal time, the best time to maximize your benefits. So looking at not only your current needs, looking at your future financial needs and obligations needs to weigh in on that decision. Calculating your future Social Security benefits. You can start your benefits at 62 for retirement and spouses benefits, for survivor benefits, widows and widowers, as I mentioned earlier, as early as age of 60. So you need to compare benefits now versus benefits later. Whether you want to take them now at a higher reduced rate or wait and get a higher benefit with a future start date. If you collect your benefits, survivor benefits, spousal benefits, retirement benefits, prior to your FRA, your full retirement age, your benefits will be permanently reduced because we're paying you over a longer period of time. So there's a cost to take your benefits early. If you decide to collect before your FRA, that decision is permanent unless you opt to withdraw your application. You have a 12-month window to withdraw your application and say to Social Security, you know what, I've changed my mind. I don't want my benefits now. I'm going to wait and file at a later date. You'll have to pay back any funds, any benefits you've received, as will anybody else who's received benefits on your record. As mentioned earlier, for retirement benefits, spousal benefits, you can start those benefits as early as age 62. Delaying those benefits increases your monthly payment. For retirement benefits, you get a bump up. You get a delayed retirement credit of 8% a year if you opt not to take your benefits at your FRA. So if your full retirement age is 67, which is what it is for anybody born January 2nd, 1960 or later, if you wait past your FRA of 67, your benefits at age 70 will be 24% higher. The piece that many people fail to consider when possibly delaying their retirement benefits is how it affects their spouse. If your spouse has not worked long enough to earn the 40 quarters, he or she will only qualify for spousal benefit. If they've worked, but their contributions were very low, they would get a retirement benefit and a secondary benefit as a spouse. They cannot receive a spousal benefit until you start drawing your benefits. And by you waiting till 70, you get that bump up because of the delayed retirement credits. But your spouse does not. He or she does not get a bump up past their FRA in their spousal benefits. So that's a consideration that many people fail to take into account, that lost spousal benefits. I'm going to wait till 70. I want my benefit 24% higher. But you potentially, if your spouse is eligible, your spouse is losing benefits he or she could be getting on your record because you've decided to wait until the age of 70 to start your retirement benefits. It's really, really important that you look at not only the impact of the decision on you, but the impact of the decision on your spouse, and also the survivor benefits. If you decide to wait to 70 to get your retirement benefits, as I mentioned, that negatively impacts your spouse because he or she would be foregoing benefits that they could qualify for on your record. But if you die first, by waiting till 70 or waiting past your FRA, your survivor, your widow or widower, would get a higher benefit because you delayed. Survivor benefits are paid on what the deceased was getting at the time he or she passed away. So, again, lots of factors to take into account, spousal and survivors, when looking at the right time to start your retirement benefits. Benefits for ex-spouses. Must have been married for at least 10 years. The worker must be at least 62 years old. The ex-spouse must also be at least 62 years old or on a disability benefit. And very importantly, the ex-spouse applying must be unmarried. If the worker has remarried, the ex-spouse could still qualify. The marital status of the worker is not relevant. The marital status of the ex-wife who's looking to receive benefits as an ex-spouse, his or her marital status is what's relevant. They have to be unmarried, 62. The worker has to be 62. And the marriage must have lasted at least 10 years. There is one caveat to what I just said. If the worker decides, I don't want my benefits, I'm going to continue worker, the ex-spouse, if they meet the other requirements, at least 62, unmarried, and the worker's at least 62. The ex-spouse, if they've been divorced at least 2 years, can qualify for what's called an independently entitled divorce benefit. Independently entitled divorce benefits. And again, the ex-spouse, if we bring them on the worker's record, the ex-spouse's benefits do not take away any benefits from the worker or his or her new spouse if they've remarried. The ex-spouse's benefits are computed the exact same way as the current spouse. If you take them before your FRA, there's a reduction percentage. And as I mentioned earlier, the maximum benefit a spouse can get is at their FRA. There's no waiting till 70. That doesn't increase the spouse or ex-spouse's benefits. Medicare, very clear cut. You can sign up at 65. Penalties for late enrollment unless you're covered under an employee group health plan of your employer or your spouse's employer. There are special rules for those who have coverage based on employment of their own or their spouses, where they could delay Medicare Part B and D enrollment with no penalty. So there are some who get confused with the Medicare start date. It doesn't coincide with the FRA date. As I've mentioned, FRA 66 to 70, 66 to 67. Medicare eligibility has not changed. It is still 65. As I say to individuals who reach out to us, I celebrate those who are looking to gather information and make an educated decision. And turning to the advisors here at AMAC, that's a great step in educating yourself and understanding your filing options for you and your spouse or ex-spouse or survivor benefits. Also, working with a financial advisor is certainly a resource individuals should avail themselves to. And again, we here at AMAC, lots of experience in both Social Security and Medicare, and we're standing by more than happy to answer questions from our public. And there's no cost. This is available to members and non-members. We are here to serve all. Contacting Social Security. As some of you might be aware, this is a challenge right now. Social Security as an agency is struggling to meet the service needs of our public for lots of reasons. Getting through on the 800 number is very, very difficult. I always encourage individuals, start with your local office. Most local offices answer the phones from 9 to 4, 9 a.m. to 4 a.m., depending on your time zone. I always recommend that's a great starting point. 9 o'clock in the morning, give them a call, see if you can get somebody on the phone. They can do everything that the 800 number can do. Schedule appointments, answer questions. Additional resources are on that slide. Another great resource is SSA.gov and Medicare.gov. Those are the Social Security websites. I trust them. The information is current and accurate. So I'd encourage you to go on those additional resources. This is how you contact us here to speak to a Social Security advisor. You can call us, email us. Website's got tons of great information on it. I encourage everybody to use our resources. We do have a few minutes to answer. Go ahead.
We have a few questions. One question, which was answered earlier, but probably needs to be reinforced is when someone takes their benefit before their full retirement age. How does that affect them?
Great question. So to receive 100% of your benefits that are not reduced for age, you would wait and start your benefits at your FRA, your full retirement age. If you start your benefits earlier than your FRA, there's a reduction percentage that would apply. So for instance, if you are filing for retirement benefits and you're due $2,000 at your FRA, and if your FRA is 67, and you decide you want your benefits at 62, you've stopped work, your health isn't good, you're having problems meeting your financial obligations, at 62, that benefit would be permanently reduced 30%. So instead of getting a $2,000 payment at age 67, you get a 30% less payment, which would equate to around $1,400 a month. If you waited to 63, it would be higher, 64, 64. Every month you wait, there's an incremental increase in your benefits, whether that's a retirement benefit, spousal benefit, or survivor benefit.
Great. The next question is actually around delayed retirement credits, believe it or not. If someone's full retirement age is 66 and 4 months, they haven't taken their benefits. In order for them to receive their full 8% yearly bump up for this year, will they need to delay submitting for Social Security benefits until July? How does that work?
So great question. Delayed retirement credits are calculated at the rate of 2/3 of 1% a month or 8% a year. So every month you delay past your FRA, in this case, 66 years and 4 months, your benefits grow at the rate of 2/3 of 1%. So if you decided to take your benefits 1 month past your FRA, you would get a benefit that was 2/3 of 1% higher than the benefit for the month before. If you waited a year, if you filed at 67 and 4 months, it would be an 8% bump up all the way up to age 70. No increases past the age of 70 for delayed retirement credits. There would be increases possible for additional work or for cost of living adjustments.
Great. Another thing is, when does the earnings limit go away?
The annual earnings limitation applies up until you reach your full retirement age, your FRA. So if you turn 67 in June of this year, June 1st, you can start making $1 million a day and you would not lose any benefits. From January to May, there would be a cap. But beginning in June, there's no limitation or cap on your earnings. So your annual earnings limitation goes away once you hit your full retirement age.
Great. Let me see. The other question is, what if you're just going back to delayed retirement credits? What if you're just shy of your 70th birthday? How does that? It's a monthly, as you said before. It's 0.667 or 2/3 of a
right
1%. So that they would do that instead of the whole 70, or?
Well, if your goal is to maximize your retirement benefit, and remember, we're only talking retirement benefits. We're not talking survivor or spousal benefits. talking about retirement benefits when we talk about the concept of age 70 and delayed retirement credits. If you want the maximum, you need to wait till 70 to get every delayed retirement credit due you. If you file at 69, there'd be 8% less in delayed retirement credits. 69 and a half, it'd be 4% less in delayed retirement credits. So if you file a few months before your 70th birthday, you're not maximizing your retirement benefit. If that's your goal, you've got to wait and file at age 70 or wait to receive at 7. You can file earlier than that. I think we have time for one more question. We're a little bit over the time frame. So let's go with one more question, Eileen. And those questions we didn't get answered, we will be responding to.
Well, there's one more question I think you may know, is about, let me see. Does the federal government recognize gay marriage regarding to ex-spouses?
Yes, they do. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Great.
Gay marriages are recognized, the same rules apply for gay marriages as they do for, non-gay marriages, for lack of a better term. So yes, they are recognized.
And I think that's all our questions.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Eileen, for that. In closing, on behalf of the AMAC Foundation, thank you for joining us today. Remember, all of our services are free to the public. We're able to offer them free through your kind donations. AMAC Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and we appreciate our donors' help in carrying out our mission to inform, support, and empower America's seniors with information important to them. Thank you, everybody, again, and have a fantastic rest of your day.
If you're looking for the handouts, they are under handouts in the chat window off to the side. You can download them from there.